Hello and welcome to Teleislas News, the most important news of the day. At this time, the Ministry of Labor holds a meeting with productive unions and organizations to work for the reactivation of the archipelago.
The Minister of Labor, Ángel Custodio Cabrera, met with the productive unions of the island to define strategies to promote the reactivation of employment and labor formalization in the department.
In the meeting we had today, the Chamber of Commerce, Cajasay, Universidad de los Andes, the local government, and SENA have agreed on a pact for the generation of employment from their competencies and how we will manage to channel new jobs and promote all these national programs to end labor informality, how we will manage to generate new instructors through the SENA to produce much more competition. We will certify ancestral knowledge that no one has certified in masonry and everything that this worker needs to obtain that certificate in order to have better opportunities in the labor market.
The minister also pointed out that he will work with the strengths offered by the territory, such as bilingualism and the promotion of new enterprises. Several agreements were defined between the Ministry of Labor and the different productive guilds of the island, information that will be expanded in our central broadcast.
Much attention to the following news. The ANATO Showcase has announced the new date when the fair will take place this year. It will be June 16, 17, and 18.
After the suspension of the ANATO Showcase due to the third peak of the COVID-19 pandemic at national level, the president of the showcase, Paula Cortez, called out a statement addressed to the media and the country in general, announcing that the fair will be held on June 16, 17, and 18 of 2021 in person in the city of Bogota. According to what is established in the official notice, ANATO has decided to continue with all the logistical preparations, reiterating the strict management in the use of the protocols, define a date that minimizes the risk in terms of peak of contagion, and is maintaining the active national and international presence of the main actors in the tourism that are part of the national event of the sector.
And the Vice Ministry of Environment also is on the island together with the Holland Embassy, who meet the Carolina Environmental Corporation and with issues surrounding the Operation Black Crop and the recovery of the environment was talked about.
Hello, Lisa and viewers. Good afternoon. Well, it's important, very important, the visit of the Vice Ministry of Environment that are here in the island, and that will be during the whole end of the week. Today in San Andres, tomorrow and Sunday in Old Providence they will be. Today what they are doing during the morning is visiting the coastal erosion, evidencing and implementing strategies to combat this problematic we have here in the department. The Vice Ministry talk about the activities they will do during the day.
Here we are again with the black crab operation that seeks the recovery of both San Andres and Old Providence after the passage of the two hurricanes. For this measure, on the first day we are developing a visit to determine all the trauma generated by the hurricane regarding coastal erosion, accompanied by the Dutch Embassy. We are going to look at the diagnosis to do a joint work to recover beaches both in San Andres and Old Providence. Then we have another joint work with all the population that has collected more than 10,000 tons of waste.
And as the Vice Minister told Teleislas News, in the evening hours they will be making a press release or a press conference about all the collection of the post-consumer waste collection journey that they had, and that will finish today in the evening at the Morgan Canyon. So Teleislas News will be aware of the development of this news for our central emission in our central broadcast. This is Sylvette Mitchell Archibald for Teleislas News.
Thank you, Sylvette. And in other news, the National Police announced the capture of a man who would be involved in the murder of a young man yesterday. Also, they confirmed the arrest of 2 people for the crime of helping prisoners to escape.
The National Police announced the capture of a man who will be involved in the murder of Jose Miguel Barliri Hawkins, 19 years old, who was killed by a firearm on April 8th of this year in the sector of the Juan 23 near a busy hardware store in the department. On the other hand, the units attached to the National Surveillance Model in the last hours captured 2 men for the crime of escape of prisoners. The first arrest was given to a 36-year-old man, a native of the island of San Andres, who was moving throughout the Flores Hill sector. Here, when his documentation was request for identification, it was found that he had house arrest for the crime of trafficking, manufacture, and possession of narcotics. Also, the authorities captured another man of 30 years on the Juan 23 Avenue, who had house arrest since 2019 for the crime of theft. These two individuals were placed at the disposal of the competent authorities, where they will have to answer for the crime of escape of prisoners.
And in our news, the campaign Porque Quiero Estar Bien has been developed since March 17 by the Archipelago Foundation Santo Domingo, also with the governmental and law enforcement entities.
To date, the Union of Foundation and the National Police, among other entities, have managed to deliver more than 22,000 face masks to islanders. The executive director of the Archipelago Foundation explained what it's all about.
Ya hemos entregado alrededor de 20.
We have already delivered around 22,000 face masks, especially in places where there are more people on the island, such as tourist sites and neighborhoods.
On the other hand, Sardivia announced that the delivery of face masks will continue on the island.
Esta campaña va a continuar un mes más.
This campaign continues for another month, where we expect to deliver 30,000 additional face masks, which is a very good amount, which has allowed us to generate special conditions for tourists to come and visit us.
Finally, the commander of the police department explained that the corrective measures have been applied for the non-use of face masks.
There are situations in which, unfortunately, some tourists do not use face masks, especially in places where they are putting our community at risk. There we have applied the rules of our police code to generate corrective measures to those who do not use them.
And a commission was created in the House of Representatives to verify the progress and resources that have been allocated for the reconstruction of the municipality of Old Providence.
The representative to the chamber for the department, Jorge Mendez, announced that this creation of this commission is very important because this way they will have the possibility to put a magnifying glass on all the processes that are being carried out to rebuild the municipality after the passage of Hurricane Iota.
This commission has been formed from a proposition that was presented in the first commission that has been approved unanimously by its members, in which we seek to follow up and strictly control the actions that the national government has been carrying out regarding the reconstruction of the municipality of Old Providence and Santa Catalina, not only the actions but also the chronogram or schedule itself, in order to monitor the dates that have been proposed for each of the solutions that have been presented regarding the issue of housing, potable water, transportation, and of those that have already been carried out.
The parliamentarian also shares that they will work on the strict follow-up of all the resources that have been invested in the reconstruction of the municipality, considering it is important for the fulfillment of the established actions.
To see which are those that are destined in their totality, which are those that have been of international donations, I believe that it is important for the community to have full detailed knowledge of which are the results and dates in which they would have the actions carried out on behalf of the government.
This commission is integrated by members of the different parties of the First Commission of the House of Representatives.
And now let's get to know other facts that are making news in our brief news sections of today.
The group of childhood and adolescents of the National Police leads the campaign AIDS Everywhere, which seeks to prevent sexual and commercial exploitation of children and adolescents in the island territory. The uniformed personnel visited various establishments in the island department, providing information to the community about the different modalities which criminals use to attack the integrity of children, which should be done for the prevention of the scourge and socialization of the reporting channels. The Secretariat of Agriculture and Fisheries, in the framework of the project Promotion and Strengthening of the Agricultural Sector, has provided small farmers with seeds for the sowing of products such as cucumber, passion fruit, pumpkin, papaya, melon, watermelon, paprika, eggplant, and corn. The departmental government will continue implementing this initiative, which will benefit approximately 120 farmers on the island of San Andres and 80 on the island of Old Providence. The Secretariats of Sports and Social Development led training for physiotherapists, health personnel, exercise professionals, and foundations dedicated to the care of people with disabilities, with the objective of strengthening the knowledge of those who work with this population on a daily basis and generate alternatives that could provide a better lifestyle for these people.
Now we continue with the weather forecast. The weather forecast for today, April 9th, in the coastal area of the archipelago, the sky is partly cloudy. Temperature is 29 degrees Celsius with wind from the northeast direction with intensities of 23 kilometers per hour. Humidity forecast is 74% and probability of precipitation is 13%.